there, and welcome to my video, the second in 2019 and the first real full no-buy sort of related video. In my previous video where I went through my 2019 planner setup, I had about a 30-minute sort of discussion about my no-buy and why I felt I need it and kind of the rationale behind that. And after watching that video, rewatching it, I decided it wasn't enough just to kind of put it out there, that it's a thing that exists. I feel like I need to kind of show you what it looks like. And also just to hold myself more accountable going forward so that you won't mysteriously see new pens enter my repertoire, so that you won't see new inks suddenly being used. This is my collection in stasis. This is what I have. So with this being my collection as it stands, it took me about 2.5, 3 years to accumulate all these things. And it wasn't really all in one go. It was over the course of the years. There were periods of like boom and bust, of course, where I was totally into the shopping and then I was just using what I had. But when I was gathering all these things to talk about or just to show, I realized that each one kind of had a story, and all of the stories were kind of messed up as to why I rationalized their existence or rationalized the purchase or something like that. So I feel like it's important to show that, again, to be accountable to myself and to kind of critically think about what I do, because I know myself, and if I keep this in my head, then I could rationalize, I don't know, a Mont Blanc. I could do it. And I don't want to, so I want to put it out there and definitely be 100% honest. So you'll see what I have. It'll be my pens first, and then you'll see all my inks, and you'll know what I have in my collection. There will be other parts of this. The next one, I think, will be on my pens, and that's gel pens, that's ballpoint pens, that's hybrid pens, that's felt tip pens, and all of the ink replacements and refills for that. I was going to do it all within this video, but this one's already a bit lengthy, so let's jump on in. So these are all my fountain pens. I know it doesn't look probably like a whole lot, and in the world of fountain pens, I know that my collection is probably budget, if anything, because they can really get up there in price. However, to me, this is a lot of wealth just laid out on the table. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of these do still make me happy. The first fountain pen that I purchased was this Pilot Kukuno, and I got it from Jet Pens, and I believe I bought it in 2017, maybe even 2016, but I purchased this solely for the purpose of using it with my Hobonichi Techo, which is probably not a great reason, but it was a really nice pen. It's really inexpensive. Of course, they still sell it. And it's more of like, I think a learner's sort of fountain pen. Like if you've never used one before, it has like a really large barrel and everything. It's kind of cool because you can see the ink in the barrel too. Mine are clean though because I stopped using it. And I really liked the nib, but I stopped using it because it quickly escalated from there, to be honest. So this was my first like next level sort of fountain pen, and this is the TWSBI Vac Mini. It's in clear, whoop, and this is extra fine. And I originally bought this from Goulet Pens, which is not a store I like super shop from at all. But I bought this, and I bought a Clairefontaine notebook. I was like all in, and I immediately ran into issues with this one. It wasn't watertight when I initially received it, but I worked at it. I used all of the pieces that are available when you buy one because it has a higher price tag, but it's a pen that you can completely disassemble, and it comes with like extra washers and everything. So I really worked at it for about a day or two, and I got this up and running after like contacting Kool-Aid Pens and going, oh, my pen, it doesn't work, or it's leaking. And they're like, yeah, that's common. We can put you in touch with the customer support from TWSBI if you'd like. And I'm like, haha, that's fine, I'll figure it out on my own. And I did. And I have like a really soft spot in my heart, and I probably from gaining that sort of satisfaction from it. So I actually do like using this pen a lot, which is sad because it probably needs to be cleaned out. I currently just have a little bit of Noodler's American Aristocracy left in it, and it currently has a 1.1 stub tip because I branched out with the tip sizes after a little bit. But it's still one of my favorite pens. But even with the difficulties that I had with this, even with the fact that I had two perfectly awesome fountain pens, shortly after, I'd say like the next month, I purchased two more, including the exact same pen I had issues with. And I don't quite know the logic behind that, but I bought another Pilot Kakuno. This one was because I just really wanted the yellow. It's as simple as that. It's the same nib size and everything. And then I bought another TWSBI Vac Mini Smoke, and I think it's because there are only two colors. There's a clear and there's a smoke, and it's kind of a finicky pen too. I mean, people who have them, they love them, but it kind of has a bit of a learning curve. And with this one, I purchased it, I worked at it because again, it wasn't like it wasn't tight when I purchased it and stuff like that, but I could not get it to retain the ink. It would just like bleed at the seams and everything like that. So it was a pain in the butt. But why did I buy it? Because you get these little accessory inks, ink reservoirs or ink bottles that work specifically for the Vac Mini, and it's really neat. You just unscrew this part, you screw in the pen, it's like no mess refilling, and I wanted to go all in on this system. So anyway, this was one that I wound up actually contacting TWSBI, and they replaced the whole nib section for me. I did have to pay for shipping, so that was kind of a pain in the butt. But, I mean, at least the support was there, I guess. But I did it to myself. I knew it wasn't a perfect pen right out of the gate, that you kind of had to work at it. And I still put myself through that. So I do still really like this one, and it's currently inked with my favorite of the moment sort of ink, which is this green. It's a Sailor ink, which you'll see shortly. So I do still really like it, and I do still like to use it. My next purchases again came quickly, probably just a couple of months after that, which are the Pilot Metropolitan in Fine, and then a Kaweco Sport in Medium. Actually, between these two there was probably a few more months because this was a 2018 purchase, because I needed a pen to go along with the 2018 ink that Lamy put out, which is this vibrant pink, which I do really like. This Pilot Metropolitan, I think I just bought because when I started my pen accumulation or my pen collecting, I bought a rollerball version of this one. And I really liked the look of the pen and the color. This orange is fantastic, and I'm not like an orange person, but I really liked it, so I thought I wanted the matching fountain pen. Because that's another trap I get myself into, completionism, or the feeling that I need to get all of the things, which I'm sure you'll hear over and over again. I got this when it became available in fine tip, because usually they're available with medium only, and I inked it up, and it wrote really, really well, like fantastic. Like, this is my ideals. The extra fine and then the fine are like my perfect versions of a fountain pen. Between these two, I actually did purchase a Lamy in the extra fine, I think, if that's an option. The finest nib you can get, that's the one that I purchased, but I really disliked it a lot. I sold it. And I even got the 2017 petrol special edition, but I sold it because I really hated it. And I do that. I kind of justify new purchases by selling old ones too. And I really liked it, and I used it maybe for a few months on end, paired with one of my favorite inks, which is this Pilot Sepia. And I didn't even bother with a converter or anything. I just have the actual ink cartridges. But this made me so sad because I abandoned it somewhere halfway through the year. And when I went to go back to it, it was all dried, and it took a really long time to get it cleaned out. And it just made me feel really, really bad and really guilty, I guess, because it's not just that I made these other purchases, it's that I was neglecting what I really liked in service of something else that I probably didn't even like as much. Like I said, when the 2018 ink was announced, I decided I needed a pen to go with it. And even though in my wish list I had one of these, one of the TWSBI Classics, just like waiting, like I had thought about what my next fountain pen would be, and I thought it would be this one, I still went ahead and bought this like wild card because I justified it to myself, being like, well, it's less expensive, it's a style I haven't tried yet, it's all of these things. And what if it's amazing? And what if it's fantastic? And all of that fun stuff. I think there was even a line in my head at that time going, well, I can't afford this one right now. What I can afford is this guy, and don't you want to buy the thing? So that's how I justified this purchase. And you know, it's actually nice. The Kaweco Sports kind of nickel and dime you, I suppose, because you have to buy, if you want the, well, I can't get mine off, I guess, but if you want the clip, that's extra. If you want, let's see, the converter, that's extra. So, all in all, considering I bought this just to go with the ink, if I really sit down and think about it, it probably wasn't less expensive than this one. And while I like it, and I do, I got it in a medium nib just to justify that this is something new. It's not my go-to pen. It's like a fun pen, like a sometimes pen. It's not like a workhorse like I would say the Pilot Metropolitan or my TWSBI Vac Minis or this TWSBI Classic are. It's just ornamental, which is fine. And in a collection, I think you should have an ornamental pen. But maybe if you had just like two others, you should have one. I don't know. I'm still kind of, I feel guilty about it, but I do like it. I just don't know if I like it that much. Now this one was just oh so panic buying. When you jump into a new hobby and you're kind of like me and you kind of want to be like the best at it right away, you do a lot of research. And sometimes you can justify purchases by saying, well, like, I did my research, I know what's going on, I know this is this and this will do this for me. I did my research and found that this was limited edition. I'll never offer it again. This is super special. This was a well-reviewed pen. Oh my goodness, I need to have it in my life right now. In order to fulfill that desire, I had to hunt for it on like pen forums and on eBay and all these different places. And I finally found it on eBay and I purchased that, and it was a little more expensive, like a TWSBI Classic is, and I thought, oh my gosh, what a steal, and I was super excited, but I got it, and it's just so heavy, and it's so big, and I don't use it. at all. I use it a couple of times, and it's really beautiful, and it's really nice, and it has one of the TWSBI like old style nibs on it. I think it's like 5 years old maybe, but I didn't use it, and that took up money that I could have spent on something I really wanted or something I really needed, and instead I bought this just because I knew it was limited, just because I knew that no one else could have it, just because I knew that I would be different by buying this. And those are not reasons to make purchases, but I did. So I think once the school semester started, maybe spring or winter of last year, I bought this TWSBI Mini Classic Extra Fine. Again, I like my extra fine nibs. So boring. These are like mainly all fine, extra fine, all that fun stuff. My handwriting's like really small, so I like the way that this writes. I like the way that the stub nib writes too, but it kind of crowds my tiny writing in a way. But this I got because I wanted it. I don't know why I wanted it. I think it's just because it was the only black mini. And I tend to kind of sneak things into my cart when I'm purchasing for this new school semester, or school quarter, because we used to do quarters. So I think this came in a JetPens order when I was going to switch my note style from a 3-ring binder to a B6 campus binder. And while I was buying those necessary supplies, in scare quotes, yeah, this just fell in somehow, because when you're spending a lot on certain items, it's kind of easy to overlook some purchases. So that's what happened with this guy, and to be honest, I really like it, and I am happy I have it. If I had my choice, I would have not purchased these, and I would have jumped straight to here. But I didn't. A couple months later, this TWSBI Mini AL Gold came out, and I wanted it. And I actually sat on this to the point where it was no longer carried by any of the pen purveyors online. I had to actually go to the TWSBI website in order to buy it, and to do so I would have had to pay shipping, but because I just didn't want to pay shipping, I spent an extra $20 or so, and I got a new nib for my TWSBI Vax. So this is a stub 1.1. It's actually the extra fine nib, because I have the stub in here, but I also purchased this at the same time that I got this gold. And it was, again, rare, limited. I had to have it, because if I have it, then someone else doesn't. And if I have it, that means that I was here for the thing. And it's cute. I really think it's visually striking and really nice, and it has the nib I like. But maybe it's just the ink I put into it, because I was thinking, oh, well, all my inks should match my pens and that sort of thing. So I bought this Gold Antiqua Robert Oster ink to use in it, and it's kind of faint. It's a really faint gold color, so I don't use it a ton, and it's not a preferred pen of mine, to be honest, and it looks amazing. I just it's a meh. Now this TWSBI Go is one of my last purchases, my last fountain pen purchase, and I purchased this before my semester started in the fall, right when it came out, like the day it came out, because it's really affordable and unique, and I don't know, I just had to have it. I was there for the release, and I was there for all the hype, and I just had to continue, I guess. So I got it in smoke. Again, it's the 1.1 nib, because I was loving that nib size, I thought. And I do like it. It's just, I don't know. I could take it or leave it. Compared to the Kukuno, I think I would rather have the Kukuno, because this one is kind of awkward. It's really big. I mean, the diameters aren't all that different. Well, no, I guess that is a significant difference actually. So it's a little too big to write comfortably with my hand, at least for any long durations or long periods of time. But it's a neat pen. This is a weird one, this Pilot Parallel. I didn't seek it. I didn't go try to purchase this pen. And I could like compliment myself and give myself all the pats on the back for not like diving deeper into the whole fountain pen, dip pen, calligraphy pen sort of arena, but I'm not. What I did last year that was a mistake, and it was such a mistake, and I can't believe I did it, but I did for like 3 months, is I joined the Happy Scrappy pen box subscription expressly just for pens, and you get like 10 different pens every month, and they range from gel pens, off-brand markers, notable highlighters or something. And in one of the months there was this pen, and I was super excited, and I tried to practice with it, and I kind of abandoned it because I wasn't immediately good at it. I will practice with this. That's what I want to do. As a part of this no-buy, it's not like I'm gonna run out of a pen and I'm gonna need to go replenish this, so this collection is basically where it ends. This will be it. I might destash some. If I'm looking at all of these pens right now, the one that I really don't like is this guy, just because it's so cumbersome for my hand and the way that I like to write. So they might not all be here at the end of the year, but at the same time I'm going to really use what I love. And what I love, if I had to pick one pen out of the whole bunch as my ride or die sort of pen, it would be one of these. Right now it's this one because it has my extra fine nib in it, and I really like that nib, and it has an ink I'm currently in love with, so that's the one I would pick. But these are kind of interchangeable. If I had to pick 2 pens, it would be these 2. The Pilot Metropolitan is really fantastic, and I really love the feel and the brushed metal and everything, and it also supports my favorite. I've said this is my favorite, but so I have different types of favorite inks, I suppose. So this is a sepia ink, sepia. I haven't found it bottled anywhere, and I haven't even like really taken the deep dive to get samples or anything because I'm satisfied with these cartridges for now. But it's really easy to just shove it up in there and go. This pen with this ink, it's just perfect and super ideal for me. And then if I had to pick another pen, it might be one of the Kukunos. If I could give up any pen, it would be this one right off the gate. If I had to pick another one, it'd probably be this one, or it might even be the gold AL, honestly. I could see myself potentially selling that to someone who actually wants it. So while I think I could probably do away with like most of my most recent acquisitions, this guy, since it's so different and so unique, I actually kind of want to play around with, because I've always like loved calligraphy writing, and it used to be a goal of mine when I was like a kid, because I was that kind of kid, to learn how to do calligraphy. So I would rather give these up and play around with this one. So this is my fountain pen collection. Before I consider really destashing or selling or giving away any sort of pen, I think I'm going to play around with it a little bit more. I do need to clean out some pens. I think specifically this one, so I might put this one on the shelf, so to speak, for a little bit. This one's currently with my Hobonichi Techo, and these three are not inked currently, so I won't ink these four. I might try using this one again, but if I just find it difficult to use for long periods, I might consider selling. And these three, again, I'll spend some more time with it and I'll let you know what happens. Next we'll see my extensive ink collection. Okay, so here are my fountain pen inks, which I think is quite the collection, or the accumulation of inks. It's quite a number. Firstly, the bottles came last. I'll say that. I feel like my kind of addiction, especially when it comes to fountain pens, it was like, it quickly escalated, and that extends to inks as well. At first, I was placated just with the inks themselves, just like the cartridges. So when I purchased the first Pilot Kakuno, I got this package of the Namiki, just regular black cartridges, and I still have quite a few, and I really like this. It's nice. It's a little on the watery side, but it's still quite vibrant. Oh my gosh, what is this cartridge for? Oh, it's a converter. Huzzah! I have a converter for my Kakuyo. Huzzah! There's actually a step between the Pilot Kakuyo and the TWSBI Vac Mini. There was a, I think, oh goodness, it was a Kaweco Student, I think. It was yellow. It was beautiful. I bought it only for the color because it was yellow, and it took the Kaweco colors. So when I bought that pen, I also bought Summer Purple and Sovereign, because at this point I was thinking I want to be different with my fountain pen ink. I don't just want to stay in the lines with black. I want to explore and be different. So I used this purple, and I tried a couple of the Sovereign colors. But that student pen wasn't very good. I couldn't get it to work. I purchased a replacement nib and everything, thinking that maybe I was just, I don't know, screwed over with a different nib, because I bought it on eBay actually. Because I feel like a lot of my purchases, if they come from eBay, I already know that I'm kind of feeling guilty about this purchase, but I'm rationalizing it. I'm letting it continue with the caveat that I have to buy it from eBay. That feels like punishment in a way. So that's where I got the Kaweco Student. I got these inks from Jet Pens. I tried them. It didn't work. I wound up buying a new nib from Jet Pens. It was $20-$30 or something, just to find out it still didn't work. So I sat on these inks for a while. Let me show you how much is still in here. I think the whole thing, -1 ink, is still in here. So I have a lot to go through. The awesome part is these will also fit the Kaweco Sport. Currently my Kaweco Sport has a converter on it. These diamond, nope, there's still more. So these little guys I have vastly more of. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 of these still left, and they come in 4 different colors. No, 1, 2, 3, 5 different colors. Because again, I was thinking, ooh, I'll have a signature ink color. That'll be my claim to fame. Not that I wrote particularly well, not that I was smart. No, it will be that I had a signature ink color, because I am ridiculous. I honestly can't see myself using any of these in a lifetime. So I might try giving this away to someone who might need it because I can't foresee myself using these in my little Coeco Sport. I don't really want to reach for that pen, if I'm being completely honest. Wow, that was a big realization right there. So, if you have a Coeco Sport, if you love your Coeco Sport, and to receive more inks wouldn't be like a burden to you, like you would actually use them, message me through Instagram, DM me through Instagram, and I'll pick whoever's first. Because yeah, I don't need these. I don't need these at all. I'm not going to use them. I will go through these because I do like the Kakunos, and these also work for the Pilot Metropolitan, and I like those pens, so I'll stick with these. But if you are interested in these, the Sovereign colorway, which has sapphire blue, ancient copper, majestic blue, chocolate brown, maroon, or the summer purple, message me on Instagram and I'll see about sending them your way, maybe just for the cost of shipping. Anyways, so the next inks I kind of went through. The first one I picked up, the first real ink bottle I purchased, was this Noodler's Massachusetts 54th. Oh, the tops are dusty. And I really liked this ink. I think it's a good, like, beginner ink because it is like a black, kind of. It's offset a little bit. It's still pretty blue, and it's actually a semi-permanent sort of ink. So I really liked it. But the second time, I think when I was going to fill this bottle, this TWSBI specific bottle that goes with the TWSBI Vac Minis, I busted the whole bottle right after I filled it up. So when this goes, that's the end of it. I think I'm right here. So maybe 2 more fountain pen fill-ups, and that's it. And to be honest, I don't think I would repurchase it anytime soon, just because I have so many inks to go through. I'm telling myself that it's a replacements only. I put that provision in my no-buy. However, I think I need to break up the categories of inks. The ink that I'm thinking about purchasing again once it runs out is this Sailor Sikiori Murai. I'm sorry, those words just came out so ugly in my mouth. But it's a lovely seaweed indigo color that you can no longer get at Jet Pens. I really like it. I really like it a lot. But I know that it's no longer available. And I'm wondering, a part of me, like a little fraction, is wondering, do I love this ink because it is so unavailable? Am I coveting this ink not because of the properties and values that it itself contains, but because it's limited, that I would have to search for it, I would have to dig and research and find it again? And when I think about it like that, maybe I wouldn't necessarily replace it by the time I get through it. I think when I'm replacing an ink, I mean one single ink that's like school or professional approved. So an off black ink like the Noodler's 54th, or like this seaweed indigo ink. So if this runs out before this one, it's not like I'm going to go out and purchase this one to replace it because I still have this, and vice versa. I think if I run out of this and this still exists, then I'll use this too. Yeah, I think that's a good rule. I'm going to add that to my rules. But after this ink, I purchased this ink, which is another one of my favorites. In fact, it was my favorite up until I learned that this was limited and I could no longer get it easily from Jet Pens or from Goulet Pens or something like that. Sorry, all these bottles are dusty. But this is Noodler's American Aristocracy, and it's a variant ink in that I think there are like 3 different versions under the same title that you could potentially receive when you purchase it. One's like a ruddy brownish red, and that's the one I got. And I heard a lot of people were kind of disappointed with that color, but I really like it. To me, it's a good all-purpose sort of professional almost color. Like if I do an essay with it, I think it's fine. I think this one are all under the same category of professional-ish inks. So I will add that to the list. Personally, if I have a signature color, I would say this is it, because it is so unique. I think they also have a reddish purple version that you could potentially receive, but mine's more raisiny, I guess. And I've gone through quite a bit of it. I'm down here, but because it's a Noodler's ink, it comes in one of those giant bottles, so I still have the bottle in my collection storage on a different shelf. Just like I still have a tiny bit of this bottle left, just a tiny bit. Like I should top this off after I film this. That's how much there is. But I have 2 bottles of this waiting in the wings, and this was one of my 2018 purchases, which is the Lamy Vibrant Pink. I bought this solely because it was the ink of 2018. I'm not a super pink person, but I was actually pleasantly surprised by this. But the level of my shopping issues, I think this story might coalesce this idea for everyone. So maybe mid-January, end of January or something, Lamy introduced the color for 2018. And it was going to be Vibrant Pink. I immediately searched online to see where I could buy it. And the only store that had it available, like within basically the release of the information, was a tiny little like mom and pop stationery store somewhere on the East Coast that had like a very basic, I would say kind of outdated-ish like Shopify storefront. I don't even think it was Shopify, I think it was like Yahoo Shopping or something like that, but it had a really, really old school storefront online, and I bought this from them because they had it available first. The next day, I think, or just a couple of days after, it became widely available for pre-order at a bunch of other locations, including Goulet pens and jet pens and that sort of thing. And at the time, I think I was making a purchase on Goulet pens. I was making an order for a replacement bullet journal, and I needed to add something to the cart in order to get free shipping, so I bought another bottle. So yeah, that one actually arrived first before the mom and pop stationery store. I could have just waited. I could have waited the week or so it took in order for other locations to have it available for pre-order, but there was this urgency that propelled me. It's crazy. It's weird, I guess. Haha, yeah, I have a shopping problem. That's kind of an offhand remark that I can kind of make with very limited sort of accountability, or very little there's very little invested for me to just like say that. But when I really dig deep and I talk about like how I acquired some of these inks, it's so apparent, it's so clear that it goes further than just buying too much. It goes so much further, and I don't know why just yet, but it's interesting to kind of look into it. Okay, so who knew this was going to be such a downer? So the next ink that I purchased was this one, which is a Robert Oster signature ink in Gold Antiqua. I've filled up my pen twice already with this. I don't so much like the consistency. I think it is a little dry for my tastes. And I don't know if that's just like the pen or the nib that I have or whatever, but it's a little on the dry side. It doesn't have any sparkles, which is nice. The Lamy Vibrant Pink does have like shimmer particles in it, so you have to make sure you kind of like shift your pen a little bit when you go to use it. And if you go to ink your pen, which I've done like twice already, you have to make sure you shake the bottle. But this one doesn't have any particles in it. It's a nice color. I like it. It's like olivey gold. It's different, but it's kind of faint and hard to read. So this is definitely not a fountain pen that I'm comfortable like writing school stuff or work stuff with. So really that resigns it to kind of living for my Hobonichi Techo, like for my daily journaling. And if that's the case, this is going to take forever to go through. So I'm not even putting a category in my no-buy replacement for like off inks or like non-professional inks, because I have this, I have the Lamy, I am good. Another sort of professional color ink that I completely forgot I had was my last purchase, and this I purchased with my TWSBI Go, primarily because I wanted an ink color that matched the Go, because I do that as well. I have to be matchy-matchy. So like my gold pen has the gold ink, the pink pen has the pink ink, my dark colored pens have dark colored inks. It's just so sickening. So that's why I purchased this gray ink, and I like it. I do. I can see myself using up the bottle. It's not going to be anytime soon, because there are certainly inks I would much prefer to use. In an effort to use this more, to get better acquainted with it, I actually, because I know I'm not using my TWSBI Go, and I haven't really since like the first couple of weeks that I had it, I inked this up in another one of my pens just so I can use it, because it is a nice ink. And it is different from the other off black ones I have. So I'm okay, I bought this. I did get it on sale too, or like that little minuscule discount that they apply on Goulet pens, because this is apparently like a preferred ink of the subreddit for fountain pens. And that was enough to get it in my cart, so that endorsement totally works. Oh, I am so misguided. You know, I was going to do like a complete this is my pen collection, this is why I have a problem sort of video, but I think I'm actually going to stop it there, because that took a lot out of me. And I know it's going to be kind of a longer sort of video. So thank you so much for watching. I'm really sorry this ended kind of on a sour note. But you know, it's kind of cathartic, I hope, to watch it and to listen to it. Because some of these ideas that I had, what was going on in my mind when I was purchasing these things, or when I made it acceptable to purchase these things, they're ludicrous. They're completely off. They have no standing in logic. And I guess when you acknowledge that, it becomes more apparent. And me just putting this out there, I hope it forces me to be more critical about my decisions in the future. I do need this no-buy, because I think I did try to curtail my purchases at the end of 2018. I certainly did. And I still was purchasing inks that I didn't need. I had this ink collection up until September. And in September, I dumped this guy on here. Did I need it? No, not at all. If we just go back to what I had in 2017, I had probably these guys in 2017. Did I need more? Of course not, but I still justified all of this fun stuff. On my own, just trying to limit my shopping, it wasn't working. So I do need this no-buy. I do need to go through some stuff, because there is stuff here that is worth keeping, that does bring me joy, that is a tool in order for me to express myself and that sort of thing, but it kind of gets lost in the mire and the muck that exists. I'm sure once I stop filming this and I spend a week using solely This American Aristocracy, I'll fall back in love with it. And I'll be sad that I ever stopped using it. At the same time, these things are severely weighing on me because I know that I will not pick up my Kaweco or any Kaweco just to justify this purchase. And it could even, if I wasn't doing the snow buy, it could go deeper and I could justify the purchase of a new Kaweco just so I could use up the ink. Because that was one of my reasons, in tandem with wanting an ink that matched the Lamy Vibrant Pink. That was one of the reasons that I bought that Kaweco Sport, was because I already had the ink. And that seemed like a perfectly reasonable reason to do so, to make that purchase. And maybe in a healthy shopping mind it was, but I do not have a healthy shopping mind. I have a problem. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you'd like to follow me here on my journey, then subscribe, watch these videos. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop planning, of course, because life goes on and I love to plan. It just means that I'm going to be using more of the stuff that I love in my planners. And I should have a new plan with me up here shortly. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and may this month, this week, this day bring the best possible awesomeness for you. Bye.